everyone, Happy New Year's 2016! That's all well and good, but what's really exciting about 2016 is I can finally tell you my very favorite books of 2015. In 2015, I read 97 books. I tried to narrow it down to my 10 favorite, but that didn't happen because, I ended up with 11. But I did not include any graphic novels or children's books, or my list would have been just completely unmanageable. I'm going to go ahead and link those children's books and graphic novels that I really enjoyed this year in the description box. If you want to check those out, you can do that. The books that made my list are not necessarily books that came out in 2015, just books that I happen to have read in 2015, and they are all books that have stuck with me the most, have meant the most to me. I find myself thinking about the most. I am glad that I have read them, these sorts of things. They're not necessarily books that I read and just closed them and was like, oh my god, that's the best book I've ever read. Because a lot of these books I'm going to mention took a little bit of time to really sink in and start impacting me, and I think that's one of the great things about reading and one of the great things about books. So those are the books that made my list. If you want to see the books that were like my, oh my god, this is a great book because I had so much fun reading it, but it didn't really mean anything to me, just go to my Goodreads and check out my 5-star read, because that's what all those are. Anyways, let's get started. So my number 11 pick is Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. If you've not heard of Kurt Vonnegut before, if you've not read him before, I would think about my life decisions if I were you, because he is wonderful in just every way possible. So, like all Kurt Vonnegut's book, Cat's Cradle isn't really about what it's about, but what it's about is a chemical called ice-9 that is entrusted to some children. This chemical is very dangerous because if it touches any water that is connected to a stream, some dew, some anything, it will freeze over the entire planet and it will be impossible to live on the earth. Entrusted to children, so But again, it's not really about what it's about. It's about meaning and religion and war and humanity coming together and ripping itself apart and all these sorts of awesome themes. He also has little one-liners in all of his books to help you remember his main points. And in Cat's Cradle, the little one-liner is, "See the cat, see the cradle," which is a reference to Cat's Cradle, the children's game that involves string that kids manipulate between their fingers to make these little pictures. That really, if you look at them, it does not look like the picture it's supposed to at all until someone explains it to you, and then all of a sudden you can see the picture for yourself. So he references this all the time in his book, and it was just wonderful. I learned a lot from it, and it's one of those books that you just have to keep reading again and again because there's so much in there that you missed the first time. Book 10 on my list is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saenz. I hope I said that right. This is another one of those books that is very hard to describe quickly because the description doesn't sound interesting at all. It's about some boys who meet and become friends, and they grow up and they learn about themselves, what it means to grow up, and these sorts of things that seem very cliche, but it's not what you think it is. I can't tell you more than that or it'll ruin most of the book for you. It was a very happy, fun read, but it was also very important. I closed the book thinking that if everyone read this book when they were about 11 or 12, and the parents of kids who were about 11 or 12 read the book, the whole world would just be a whole lot better with happier, more fulfilled people. A lot of heartache would be just not even happen in the first place. And because of that, it's really stuck with me. I plan on making my kids read it when they get to be about that age. I plan on reading it again. And yes, I just really recommend it to everyone. Number 9 on my list is Demian by Herman Hesse. Herman Hesse is another one of those authors who always writes things that have a ton of meaning in them, a lot of hidden meaning. Demian is about a boy who is growing up, questioning his faith and his morality and where morality comes from and how to be a good person. And he's sort of questioning the culture that he's growing up in. He meets a guru of sorts named Demian, and They kind of talk about these things together. He learns through art and poetry. You get to see him discover all these things and think about them critically, and from reading about him thinking about it, you then think about it yourself. And it's just another one of those books that I think is really important to read if you're a human being inhabiting the planet Earth and you just want to be a good person. So I think that's it for my like high morality books. The rest of the books are mostly books that I really loved. The next book on my list is The Martian by Andy Weir, which I'm sure you've heard of The Martian because it's this huge blockbuster. If you've seen the movie and you enjoyed the movie, definitely check the book out, because even though the movie was great, it skipped over a lot of the most funny parts of the book. In my opinion, that's the only thing they didn't really do very well. They didn't put any of the humor in the movie almost at all. The book, what made it so wonderful is because this astronaut is in this horrible, dire situation. You know, he's stranded on Mars, and he has to figure out a way to sustain his own life there for almost 2 years. It just sounds like such a horrible, dire situation, but he makes it funny. The entire book is very, very funny and humorous and just so full of laughs, and I don't know, it was such a weird, like, genre bender. I was really impressed with it, and if anyone is concerned about the science, like maybe they think the science is going to be too much for them because they don't know all that much about science, I have asked my non-sciencey friends who have read the book, and they say that it was pretty easy for them to follow along with. Anything that wasn't super easy on the first go round, they just reread the sentence and understood it. So, you know, it's not too bad. Number 7 on my list is The Lies of Lockemora by Scott Lynch. This book is really good, you guys. It's one of those that's, again, hard to describe because there's so much going on. There's a group of thieves that basically steals from the rich. They don't give it to the poor, so they don't have like a Robin Hood thing going on, but they concoct these ridiculously elaborate schemes to steal money from the rich. There's a lot of politics and like magic and a lot of like pretending to be someone that they're not, and like meeting all these like high noble type people. The world is just so rich, and the way that Scott Lynch built it up, I was really impressed with. The Lies of Lockemora is one of those epic books that every page of it, everything that happens is just so gripping. It's such an immersive book. The world building is absolutely fantastic, and the characters are very lovable, and the relationships they'll have together, the things that they have to learn and go through. It's just a wonderful book. Number 6 on my list is Wild by Cheryl Strayed. Wild is one of those books, either you love it or you hate it. I was one of those people who loved it. It's about a woman who goes off into the wilderness of the Pacific Crest Trail and hikes not the entire thing, but a pretty good portion of it to try and find herself. And she doesn't really have any training, has never done anything like this before, so she's got quite a lot of things that she learns along the way. I really love the book so much because it reminded me how much I loved the wilderness and how much I kind of let that go, and I wasn't doing anything outside anymore, really. And after reading the book, I realized my passion for that was sort of rekindled, and I've been taking my kids on more camping trips, and we've been going to the springs and, you know, that sort of thing. So because of that, I mean, I was very clearly changed and inspired by the book, and it had to make my list. So number 5 is Everything I've Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This book was so good. It's about this interracial family that lives in this town of just white people. Everyone's white, and you wouldn't think that would be a big deal, but in the time that the story takes place, it's a huge deal. And this poor family, they're half white and half Chinese, I want to say. It might be Korean. I think it's Chinese. People are just really mean to them for no real reason, but that's not even what the book's about. That's sort of an undercurrent. The book is about one of their kids goes missing, is later found dead, and no one knows what happened, if it even was a murder, if, you know, through the investigation, things are uncovered about her and her life, things she hadn't wanted her parents to know, things she was doing. It's told some through her point of view a little bit, so we get to find out about her and her relationship with her family. The entire book is about family, and expectations that we put on family members, especially children, and it's about the burdens that we can put onto people, even if those burdens are not explicit. As a parent, it really impacted me a lot because it made me take stock of how I was parenting and these subliminal messages I was accidentally giving my children. I realized that even though I wasn't doing that outright, it does impact them. And the book just really stayed with me because of that, and I'm reminded of it a lot. Number 4 on my list is Big Little Lies by Lianne Moriarty. It's about a group of women who sort of surround this murder that happens, and it goes through their lives about 2 or 3 months prior to the murder, and the things that were going on in their lives, what they were thinking about, the gossip going on, where everyone was doing, where they were at. And through this, you get to know the characters very, very well. Big Little Lies really made me take stock of gossip and what I thought I knew about someone versus what was really going on behind closed doors. And I try to approach it with a lot more empathy now and try to see where they're coming from, and with some understanding that they've probably been through a lot of stuff in their lives that they may not want to talk about, but just because they haven't told me about it doesn't mean I need to act like their life has been perfect up to this point that I have entered their lives. So it's definitely changed me. And it was just a very interesting take on a murder mystery that, even though the book centered around the murder, it wasn't about the murder at all. It was about the town and about the gossip and about the people. And I just thought it was very touching, and it was definitely a tearjerker towards the end, and I just really liked it a lot. Book number 3 is also sort of a murder mystery. It is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I enjoyed this book mostly because it is told through the perspective of the girl whose name I forget, but she's like a psychotic alcoholic, like she's just so delusional, and the fact that the entire book is told through her point of view and the fact that it's a mystery is very interesting because you not only don't know what happened as far as the mystery is concerned, but you don't even know if what she's telling you is correct because she's like a little messed up in the brain. She's got all these psychological problems. It's a very interesting book that again really stayed with me because of the characters and because how ridiculously flawed they were, but yet how genuine and concerned they were for everything that was going on. We're down to my top 2, you guys. My top 2 are actually very similar books. Number 2 is The Name of the Wind, or The King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. These books are so ridiculously epic. The worlds in them are huge, yet you are told through a single point of view, and you learn everything as Kvoth learns it. Kvoth is the main character. You learn everything as Kvoth learns it, so you are on the journey with him. It's not a story told about him. You feel like you are the character. And because of that, everything is very easy to remember. It's not like one of those George R.R. Martin things where you have to have like a family tree written on your wall to understand what's going on. You learn things one at a time in a very linear manner, and it's very easy to understand and keep things straight. Also, there's magic. Like, there's a magic school. Like, and the magic isn't just magic. Like, it's explained with science and stuff. And there's like this secret group that like we don't really know anything about, but like they're super secret, you know, and he's like on this quest to find them because they killed his parents, and like he's this genius guy. He's just like a genius, poor little wretch whose parents died, and he's just, you know, but we know from the beginning of the book that at some point Kvoth ends up being this like super legendary guy who's like spawns all of these legends and stories, and like they talk about him as if he were, you know, like the Jesus of their time. So we know that eventually he becomes like this super awesome dude. So I'm really excited for the next book. Number 1 is the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Surprise, surprise. I know. I read Mistborn this year. I can't stop thinking about it. It's so wonderful. I just love Kelsier and Kelsier and Vin and, you know, Doc and like all the creatures that are in this book. Like, it's not just humans and then the humans with powers, It's like the humans and the humans with powers, and then there's like these god type people, and then there's like other people over there. Like there's like these coalesce things that are really cool, and there's more magic, and there's like super magic that like no one even knows about because it's like a secret magic. They just find it out. Everyone's like, I don't know, it's so good. Okay, anyways, the King Killer Chronicle and Mistborn stuck with me not because they taught me like super awesome lessons, but just because they were so ridiculously epic and awesome that it sort of makes you go into the world in this very nerdy way that like you want to research it afterwards. And like they're very like nerd books. They spawn like all this nerd culture that I just love so much. And you just like, you know all the characters like first, last, and middle names, like where they were, and then what coins they use, and what their favorite songs are, and like the legends of the world, and like I don't know, I just love it. I'm getting too excited. My heart rate's going up, you guys. These books, I really liked them a lot. Anyways, these are my favorite books of 2015. I will link them in the description below so you can find them easily on Goodreads. And man, I need to calm down. So many books, so little time. And definitely, if you're gonna pick any books from my channel to put on your personal to be read list, pick some books from this video because they are the best of 2015. Thanks you guys for watching. Have a great day and a happy new year, and I'll be back to you pretty soon with my New Year's resolution video. And until then, have a great day.